चाहतों का रंग मिला, मन चमन मेरा खिला। चाहतों का रंग मिला, मन चमन मेरा खिला। आबाद हुआ हर लम्हा अब उसके दुलार में, अब उसके दुलार में। सुख इतने पाए हैं प्यारे प्रभु के प्यार में। नास है खुद पे अब तो मन में यही जुस्तजू। नास है खुद पे अब तो मन में यही जुस्तजू। सात सुरों की गुंजन है मन के हर एक तार में, मन के हर एक तार में। सुख इतने पाए हैं प्यारे प्रभु के प्यार में। रौनक ही रौनक अब तो मेरे संसार में, मेरे संसार में।
Shanti. Shanti again. Morning. So many greetings to you, all of you from your family in Turkey. I arrived here last night. So for me, great honor and pleasure to spend some days here with Baba's family in Sri Lanka. We're here over 2 weeks. I'm also very happy to have come here as the first stop. Flew into Colombo and then straight to Kandy. And looking forward to getting to know some of you better over the next couple of days. Can you hear me okay? It's the morning entertainment. Yes, so Baba Sakar Murli. Today, Baba is highlighting one of the many benefits or specialities of the confluence age. And that is, it is the time of the meeting of the souls with the Supreme Soul. This is no small thing. It is the greatest of all experiences of the cycle when the soul meets its own parent. So we've had meetings with each other so many times over so many lives. Deity souls meeting deity souls. And then in the Copper Age and the Iron Age, we have met other souls who came later. Maybe some Mahatmas, some religious leaders, some inspirational figures. But right at the end of the cycle, the Supreme Soul himself comes to meet us. And this is our fortune, but it is also our greatness. Out of all the entire souls of the human family, how many are there? 8 billion or so at the moment. How many souls get not just to know, but to be sustained by the Supreme Soul, to be guided by, to be loved by the Supreme Soul? Very few souls have that fortune. And therefore, Bap Dada has not just love for us, but also has so much respect for us. And when you feel God's respect for you, then what happens? Intoxication happens. Yes. Yes. Pure pride. Long list. And also then the need or the desire for respect from others begins to reduce and finish. This is the wonder of experiencing God's love for you and God's respect for you. And these experiences are really the basis of solid self-esteem. What makes a person strong with real self-esteem, real self-respect. It's when you feel how much Baba loves and respects you individually. And why? Because when you experience that, your heart becomes very full very quickly. When the heart is full, then the mind becomes quiet. It means the noise of desires and emotions and too many thoughts, all that calms down. When the mind is quiet, then intellect becomes very clear. This is what Baba, I think, tries to underline to us every day, every day. Murli always starts with sweet children. How many times have you heard, Meethe Bacche? But even in this Brahmin life, so many times, I have to think, who is saying this to me? Who is saying sweet children? I have to see myself as Baba is seeing me. Then naturally, everything changes. My relationship with myself changes. I begin to appreciate myself more, love myself more, accept myself more. And the result is my relations with others changes. I begin to see their specialities as well. I can look beyond their temporary defects and see how special that other soul is. And so hence, how much should we value ourselves and how much should we value each other? Baba has said that in the world there are VIPs, IPs and VIPs. You know the title he gives to us. Yeah, many, many V's. VIP. And it's not just to make us happy. It's not, Baba is not a politician who says something but does something else. His practical behavior indicates that. So when God comes onto the earth, who does he choose to spend his time with? Yes, with us, no? It's not with the famous people in the world, the rich people, the powerful people, the celebrities, no. When he comes, he would come in the diamond hall, even in our time. He's spending hours with us. He chooses to spend time with those who recognize him, those who love him, those who value him. This is like a pinch me moment, You have to pinch yourself then. Wow, this is really happening. Have you pinched yourself everywhere? Many times. Yeah. And when we remember these things, and these are very basic things, when we remember them, our intoxication becomes very high. And spiritual intoxication is the most powerful energy there is. Baba had said that if you are in spiritual intoxication, nothing can harm you. Not a person, not an animal, even 5 elements cannot harm you. If you know how to keep yourself in Ruhani Nasha, spiritual intoxication, it's like a kind of armor around the soul. And when we are really intoxicated, even your sanskars melt. Think of moments of high intoxication in your Brahmin life. At that time, even your own sanskars, they get out of the way. And so Baba gives us every day so many points. Why so many points? Go deep into it. Explore it, experience it, discover it, research it, taste it, eat it, breathe it, drink it, digest it. Fight with the Maya. Yeah. This is the wonder. Yeah, we become the conquerors. Huh? So that's the wonder of Baba's sustenance for us. So let's have the Murli. Today, of course, 24th of January. Sweet children, this is the confluence age when there is the meeting of the souls with the Supreme Soul. The Satguru only comes once to give you children true knowledge. and to teach you to speak the truth. Question: which children's stage remains first class? Those who have not read the Murli, do you think could be the answer? Purity, yeah. Happiness, mhm. Baba's saying here, those, mhm, those whose intellects are aware that everything belongs to Baba. The stage of the children who follow Srimad at every step and to completely renounce everything remains first class. The journey is long, and so you must continue to follow the elevated directions of the highest Father. The journey is long, means you will need guidance, support, coaching, expertise, all the way until journey is complete. Question number 2, so maybe this time the Shaktis can answer. Question 2, which children experience infinite happiness whilst they are listening to the Murli? Yeah, basically correct. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, more or less, that's the answer. Those who understand, they are listening to Shiv Baba's Murlis, that Shiv Baba speaks those Murlis through the body of Brahma. Our most beloved Baba speaks those to us to make us constantly happy and to change us from human beings into deities. When you have this awareness whilst you are listening to the Murlis, you will experience happiness. It's an interesting point there. Baba speaks to us to make us constantly happy. The aim is to reach that. And the song of that day was, "Beloved, come and meet me." Om Shanti. That unhappy heart would only be in the land of sorrow, like Baba's referring to the song. Happy living beings would be in the land of happiness. Only the one is remembered as the beloved of all the devotees. He is called Pritam, the beloved. It is when people experience sorrow that they remember him. Who sits here and explains to you? The true beloved, the true father, the true teacher, and the true Satguru. The beloved of all is that one. No one knows when the beloved comes. The beloved himself comes and tells his devotees, his children, he only comes once at the confluence age. Between my coming and my departure, it is called the confluence age. Nice definition. Between my coming and my departure, that is called confluence age. All other souls, they come into birth and death many times. I only come once. I am the only one Satguru, whereas there are many gurus. They cannot be called the Satguru because they do not speak truth. Yeah. Means even people may say good things, but they're speaking a fraction of the story. Satguru means one who comes and gives you the full picture, higher picture. So that Satguru is the one who speaks the truth. He is the true Satguru. The true father and the true teacher himself comes and tells you that he comes at the confluence age. My age is just the duration of time that I come here. I come, and after purifying the impure, I go back. From the moment I take birth, I start teaching you Raj Yoga. Then, when I have finished teaching you, the impure world is destroyed and I go back. I only come for this length of time, and that is all. In the scriptures, they have not mentioned a time. The Father himself comes and tells you when Shiv Baba takes birth, for how long he stays in Bharat, and that he comes at the confluence age. The beginning of the confluence age is the beginning of my coming. The end of the confluence age is the end when I depart. In between, I sit here and teach you Raj Yoga. Father himself sits here and tells you that he enters this one in his stage of retirement. I enter a foreign land, I enter a foreign body. Therefore, I am guest. So how does it feel to be a guest? Honored? Yes. Thing belongs to me, right? It means when you're a guest, for example, you go somewhere, or let's say you have to stay in a hotel somewhere. You are staying. You are using the facilities. You are enjoying. But you know in your mind, the thing belongs to me. Because you know, after some days, I will leave. So when you have guest consciousness, there's a natural detachment is there. This is really something to work with. How a natural detachment forms when you live in the awareness all the time. I'm a guest in this world. My home is soul world. This home, this world here is my temporary address. You've all stayed in a hotel sometime, right? Or someone's house. You use everything, but you don't take anything with you. You don't take the forks and spoons and knives, do you? Huh? You use, but you leave. So Baba's highlighting for us, I am the guest in this world of Ravan. The praise of this confluence age is very important and great. The Father comes to destroy the kingdom of Ravan and to establish the kingdom of Ram. In the scriptures, they have written many tall stories. They have been continuing to burn Ravan. At this time, It is as though the whole world is Lanka, Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Baba is welcoming me by mentioning today's Murli, has to say. I was laughing when I read this morning. So Ceylon, Sri Lanka, by itself is not Lanka. The whole world is Ravan's place of residence. That is, it is the cottage of sorrow. All are experiencing sorrow. The Father says, I have come to make it into the cottage that is free from sorrow, that is, into heaven. No other religions exist in heaven. There was just the one religion, and it no longer exists. Now I am teaching you Raj Yoga, make you into the deities once again. Not everyone will study this. I only come in Bharat. It is only in Bharat that there is heaven. Christians also believe in heaven. They say, when somebody dies, they say, he left for the heavenly abode. That is, he went to God, the Father. However, they don't understand heaven. I always used to think, when somebody would say, or when someone has died, he has gone to heaven, I would say, then why you are crying? I'd say, if he has gone to a good place, then he should die earlier, no? He could go earlier to heaven. Like, it never made sense to me when somebody says he's gone to heaven, but they are feeling sad. And so Baba says, however, they do not understand heaven. Heaven is something separate. The Father explains when and how he comes. I come and I make you Trikaldarshi. No one else is Trikaldarshi. I alone know the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world. The Iron Age is now to be destroyed. The signs of that are visible. It is the same time of the confluence age. An accurate time cannot be given, but yes, when the kingdom is completely established and you children have reached your karmatit stage, this knowledge will end and the war will begin. So Baba said this back in the late 60s. Since then, so many of our dadis, almost all, reached that stage. We have to ask ourselves, where am I at in my journey towards karmati? I too will have completed my part of purification and will go back. It is in my part to establish the deity religion. People of Bharat do not know any of this. People now celebrate the birthday of Shiva, and so he must definitely have performed some task. Then they inserted Krishna's name. It appears that this is a common mistake that they have made. Sometimes Baba calls it as the biggest blunder to do this. Because of this, all the other religions have been influenced in their beliefs as well. So if you look at the tree, of course, every branch is connected to the trunk. So each religion has taken something from the trunk. So it is not mentioned in the Shiv Puran or in any of the other scriptures that Shiv Baba comes and teaches Raj Yoga. In fact, each religion has its own individual scripture. There should also be a scripture of the deity religion, but they have become confused as to who the creator of that is. The father explains, I definitely have to create this Brahmin Dharma through Brahma, the translator's religion. The mouth-born creation of Brahma are the Brahma Kumars and Kumaris. The names of many were changed, and many of them ran away. In the early days of the Yagya, as you know, new names were given. Together with them leaving, others have replaced them. It was seen there wasn't any benefit in giving new names. They even forget those names. In fact, you have to have yoga with the Father. Why? Why should we have yoga with the Father? Any reason? Yeah. When your sins, stabilize the mind. Yeah. Yes, concentrate to be powerful. Yeah, long list, no? Yeah. Think about it also personally in your own life. Now, what happens to you when you are having yoga with the Father, with the Supreme Soul? So there are many reasons, hundreds of reasons. We can keep making a list. One thing I just felt is that when I am in yoga with the Supreme Soul, the best within me comes up to the surface. And I want that to happen because I want to use the best in me and I want to distribute that. I want to contribute and use that for the world as well. When we remember people, we get influenced by people. But when we remember the Supreme Soul, the excellence within us is awakened. And then we apply that and use it in the practical life. And as you know, the meaning of yoga is union or connection. Whatever your mind is having a yoga with, you become similar to that. Even on the practical level, if you see an elderly couple who've been married for many, many, many years, they begin to look like each other. You've noticed some people like that. Because in the mind of one is the face of the other one. Whatever's in your mind, it's going to affect your features, your face. You may have seen some people, they look like they're dogs. Or like the cat. Because they're having yoga with a dog. Dog, it doesn't look like the owner. The owner looks like the dog. So if I am having yoga with Shiv Baba's qualities will also begin to come in me. This is the great, great secret that we have. Baba has shown us the method of connecting to the source. How to draw power from the source directly into myself and how to awaken that divinity within me. It's the greatest secret in the human world. Method of yoga. So Baba says, in fact, you have to have yoga with the Father. It is the bodies that are given names. There are no names for souls. This soul takes 84 births. In every birth, name, the form, the place, the time, all change. Just imagine if you could see that. If you see another person, you see 83 people standing behind that person. Wow, Yes. You have been all these people, huh? Huh? It helps you to be soul conscious when you go into the unlimited and into the eternal. These two words I like very much. Go into the unlimited, go into the eternal. Then Maya cannot touch you. If you think, why is God God? Why you are not God? Why I'm not God? Why he is God? Shiv Baba, because he's always in the unlimited and in the eternal. Therefore, he always has the perfect perspective on anything which is happening. And the wonder is in this confluence age, Baba invites us. He says, come up, look at life from my perspective. The purpose of Gyan is this, to open our intellects, raise our consciousness, so we begin to see things from Baba's angle. Working with Gyan, we will talk more about that later in the morning, and really squeezing Gyan and getting the maximum juice out of it. That's the beauty of the Brahman life. So Baba explains in every birth that all these things change. No one in the drama receives the same part with the same form that they had at another time. That same part will be played again after 5,000 years. It is not that Krishna can come again with that same name and form. No. You know that each soul leaves one body, takes another one. And so the features cannot be the same as those of another. So what else affects the features? The features also change according to the 5 elements, geographical conditions, the weather, and so on. There are so many different features. However, all of them are fixed in the drama in advance. Nothing new is created. The night of Shiva is celebrated. Shiva definitely came. He is the beloved of the whole world. Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna, Brahma Vishnu, none of them is the beloved. God the Father is the beloved. The Father definitely gives the inheritance. And this is why the Father is love. Every soul receives mukti. Every soul gets something from the parent soul. The Father says, remember me, because you have to receive your inheritance from me. You children know you will go and become Sun Dynasty deities or Moon Dynasty warriors, according to how you studied. In fact, the dharma of all the people of Bharat should be one. They have changed the name of the deity religion, given it the name Hindu religion, because they don't have, the deities have, which Hindus don't have. They don't have divine virtues. They can say an ordinary human plus divine virtues equals deity. One way of describing this whole study we are doing is to become all virtuous. The study of divine virtues is the study of Raj Yoga. Father now sits here and inspires you to imbibe them as divine virtues. He says, now here comes the method, consider yourself to be a soul and become bodiless. You are not the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul is only one, Shiva. He, the beloved of all, only comes once at the confluence age. This confluence age is very short. All religions are to be destroyed. The sentence. Only God can say this. All religions are to be destroyed. Even the Brahmin clan will return home because then they have to be transferred to the deity clan. In fact, this is a study. A comparison is made. The vice of lust is poison, whereas this knowledge is nectar. Nectar, what does it mean, nectar, for you? What does this word mean? Why nectar? Sweet, yes. Life-giving, soothing, purifies, yes. Nourishes, it gives you energy, happiness. And nectar, it is said when you drink nectar, the thirst of 1,000 years is quenched when you drink nectar. Plus, in some traditions, they say drinking nectar makes you immortal. You would never die. So if I have the nectar of knowledge in my intellect, my happiness becomes immortal. So the ups and downs we may experience, the moodiness, the emotions, all that begins to finish if I allow knowledge to live in my intellect. Hence it is said, the sign of a jnani soul is that soul knows how to look after his or her peace of mind and happiness. And situations come. Situations will always come because it's a drama. The question is, do I lose my happiness because of situations, or am I the manager of my happiness, even when situations are not as per my liking? That's the sign of a jnani soul who knows how to apply knowledge in the practical life. So Baba Sakar Murli especially is full of metaphors. And our job is to unpack those metaphors and see the depth, the meaning hidden inside. So here is a metaphor. Knowledge is nectar. This is a study place for changing human beings into deities. The alloy that is mixed in souls has made them completely false. The Father comes and makes you become like diamonds. They speak of Shivratri. Shiva came in the night, but how did he come? In whose womb did he come? Whose body did he enter? He does not enter a womb. He has to take a body on loan. So if you take something on loan, you have to pay rent. So what rent does Shiv Baba pay to Brahma? He doesn't declare. This is secret contract between the two. We're not allowed to get the details of that. It's between the two of them. He would definitely come and make hell into heaven. However, no one knows when or how he does this. Many people study scriptures, but none of them receives mukti or jivan mukti. They have become even more tamo pradhan. Everyone definitely has to become that. All human beings definitely have to be present on the stage. Every soul, yeah? It's interesting. At the end of the cycle, every soul is here. Everyone you've ever heard about in history, all the heroes and the villains, all are still here. Man, just think about it, how amazing it is. We, of course, are the oldest. We've been around since the beginning of the human story. Everyone who's ever been here, still here. The Father comes at the end. Everyone sings his praise. Only you know your ways and means. Only you know what knowledge you have and how you grant salvation. And so he would definitely come to give Srimad, would he not? However, no one knows how he comes or in which body he comes. He himself says, I have to enter an ordinary body. I definitely have to name him Brahma. How else would Brahmins be created? Where would Brahma come from? He would not come from up above. That one is the resident of the subtle region, the Avyakt, perfect Brahma. He definitely has to come here in a corporeal form to create creation. We can tell you from experience, he comes for this length of time and then leaves. The Father says, I too am bound by the bond of the drama. My part is to come here just once. Although many calamities continue to take place in the world, and people call out to God so much at those times, I have to come at my own time, and I come when it is the stage of retirement. This knowledge is very easy, but what takes time? To get the knowledge is easy, but to understand, practice, yeah, basically all this, and it takes time to create that stage. The stage. What is stage? Is all of the things you said. To imbibe, to make it part of you, so your intellect starts thinking knowledge fully. So all that takes practice and attention. This is why it is said the destination is very high. The Father is knowledgeful, and so he definitely gave the knowledge to the children. This is why there is the praise, only you know your ways and means. Baba says, I come and only give you children the treasures of happiness and peace that I have. All the innocent mothers being assaulted, etc., is fixed in the drama. It is only then that the urn of sin will become full. The same thing repeats every cycle. You come to know these things at this time, and then you forget them. This knowledge does not exist in the golden age. If it did, it would continue from time immemorial. There it is the reward you receive for the efforts that you make at this time. The souls who make effort here will exist there. It is not that there are other souls there who would need knowledge. We also know that hardly a few will emerge. Many will say, this is very good, very good, very good. But then I have to go. I have other things to do. Many will say this. For instance, an important person from abroad may emerge and understand this. But if he were to stay in a bhatti, what would he understand? He would say, whatever you are saying is fine, but I cannot remain pure. However, so many here remain pure. Even those who are married and living together remain pure, and so they receive a big prize. This is also a race. Those who win those races and come first, they may receive 400,000 to 500,000. Here, you children receive an entire kingdom for 21 births. Is this a small thing? This Murli will go to all the children. They will also listen to it on tape. In those days, somebody had sent, actually from London, somebody had sent a tape recorder to Baba, and of course, Baba liked it very much. It came in the Murli a few days ago. He would say, this is the number one child, because it repeats the Murli accurately. Of course, nowadays, when Baba used to come, it was amazing. Across the world, we were listening live and watching live. So they would say, Shiv Baba is speaking a Murli through the body of Brahma. Or if the daughters are speaking, they would say they are reading Shiv Baba's Murli. So your intellect should go right up above. You should feel that happiness inside. Most beloved Baba is making us constantly happy and changing us from human beings into deities. So you should remember him a great deal. Maya does not allow you to stay in remembrance. This is Maya's job description. Stop the Brahmins from remembering Shiv Baba. It's her job. We can't complain. But see, Maya is very, very creative. Finds different ways to confuse the Brahmins. Maya's creative team is always working 24/7. Let's find new ways to confuse the Brahmins. Because Maya's team is busy, we have to be ahead of the game. We have to be ahead of the curve and know what is Maya's tactics. Once Baba said that to be a knowledgeful soul means not only to know God, but also to know Maya. When we recognize Maya's tricks, then Maya starts working on new tricks. So our third eye is to be very sharp to know, this is Maya's strategy. Stay one step ahead. Maya doesn't allow you to stay in remembrance. There has to be complete renunciation. All of this belongs to Baba. There has to be this first class stage. Many children continue to take Srimad. There is definitely benefit by following Srimad. The directions are elevated, the journey is long. Then you won't come back to the land of death. The golden age is the land of immortality. The other day, Baba explained very clearly that you do not die there. You shed your old costumes in happiness and take new ones. Just imagine that scene of leaving the body. How would it be? Even someone who is your relative in golden age, maybe who would it be? It would be the wife, right? The wife dies first in golden age. Yeah? His wife never becomes a widow, as Baba said. So imagine someone very close to you in the family leaving the body in golden age. How would it feel? Yeah, the one who is leaving has the, but even the one who has left, you don't feel sorrow. Oh, so and so has gone. Because we know the costume is changed, another part will begin. I remember seeing one, they showed in Madhuban once, many years ago, one bhakti film of how kings and queens would live in the past. There was one scene of a Maharaja, he was dying. So he went in a room, he lay down on the bed, and the family members just stood around the bed, and he was just giving drishti to them, like taking leave in silence. And he closed his eyes. And in that film, they show the soul is leaving and going somewhere. And everybody then just walked out of the room. No sorrow, no pain. So to think that's, this thing called death in the golden age, silver age, that's how it used to be. Not just that's how it's going to be, it's how it used to be. The original human beings, life was so simple, so natural. Compare that to the sorrow and the suffering of the end of the Iron Age, and all the attachment which makes it difficult even for the soul to leave its own body. So, sorry? You think you can? Yeah, being bodiless. In fact, we used to see when Bap Dada used to leave, remember, how royal his departure was. The Dadis and others would sit on the stage, just giving drishti. Then the eyes close and he goes, he flies. It's like how to leave the body is modeling, is demonstrating. And for us too, we have to check the attachment level. Who or what am I attached to, which pulls me down? Therefore, the practice of bodilessness, important again and again, break the attachment to the temporary. So Baba gives these examples of different animals. The example of the snake is for you. The example of the buzzing moth is for you. The example of the tortoise is also for you. The sannyasis have copied you. The example of a buzzing moth is good. You are the buzzing moths. You buzz this knowledge to the insects who live in the dirt, and you make them into angels of the land of angels. Now you have to make very good effort. If you want to claim a high status or a good number, you have to make effort. You may do your business. You are allowed time for that. Nevertheless, you have a lot of time. You should check your chart of yoga because Maya causes many obstacles. Baba repeatedly tells you children, sweetest children, no one should even by mistake divorce such a most beloved father and bridegroom. Let no one become such a great fool. However, Maya makes you that. As you progress further, you will see what condition Maya makes those who surrendered themselves, did very good service, and then stopped following Shrima. This is why Baba says, do not become such great fools. Ciao. Do the sweet. Okay. Would you like to hear in Turkish? Yeah. Baba would say, en tatlı, en sevgi, uzun zaman kayıp ve şimdi bulunmuş çocuklar, sevgi hatırlama ve günaydın, anneden, babadan, babdadadan, ruhsal baba, ruhsal çocuklar, namaste ediyor. Ruhsal çocuklar, ruhsal babaya namaste ediyorlar. Baba is a multilingual God. He understands all the languages. Essence for the Dharana number 1. Give everyone the treasures of happiness and peace that you have received from the Father. Use this knowledge, make effort, make your stage strong. Number 2, in order to imbibe divine virtues, renounce body consciousness. Consider yourself to be a soul. Become bodiless. Remember the one beloved. And the Vardhan. You know, there's different words, no? There is Ashirvad, Duai, Vardhan. In Turkish, it's all one. It's Hayır Dwasa. But means the reason I'm saying, you know, in English they translate as blessing. But you know, Vardhan, there's Ashirvad, which is like a kind of thank you. There is Duai, like parents would give Duai to children. The Vardhan is what Satguru gives. It's like a special power or a boon or a blessing. You just have to accept it, that's all. Accept it and use it. And so these are the Vardhans, means Baba is giving you a gift. Today is Vardhan. May you be a special soul who receives the fruit of contentment from your seed of speciality. So in this special age, the most elevated fruit from the seed of speciality is contentment. The sign of a special soul is to be content and make everyone content. Therefore, water the seed and the blessing of speciality with the water of all powers, and it will become fruitful. Otherwise, from time to time, a fully grown tree is also shaken by storms and breaks. This means that as you move along, there is not hope or enthusiasm or happiness or spiritual intoxication. So make your powerful seed fruitful by using the right method. slogan, to share the prasad of experience and make weak ones powerful is the greatest charity of all. To share the prasad of experience and make weak ones powerful is the greatest charity of all. Hmm? Yeah, means, you share, like somebody has let's say somebody has lost their happiness. They say, oh, because of this reason, that situation. And you share your experience of how you have dealt with that situation. You share tips and experiences and methods that you have used. So they get inspired. Through your experience, they learn how to overcome their own obstacles. They become strong through that. And this is the wonder that in the Brahmin family, this system is there of sharing your experiences. I know for myself, listening to so many Brahmins over so many years, you pick up something. Someone shares his experience or how he came to Gyan, or she shares how she handled this situation, and you remember. And if you have some similar situation, similar obstacle in the future, wow, this is the way to deal with it. So to make somebody strong and stand on their own 2 feet, so they learn how to overcome obstacles themselves. That's a great charity. Helping others to help themselves. So whatever you've got, the slogan, pass it on, pass it on, pass it on. As Baba has done, as Dadis have done, the same system continues. Pass it on and enable others to also use and learn from your experience. So let me just check in about what should I do now?
Shanti, looks like Banda coming down. Okay. You'll tell him later. Om Shanti, brother. We are very, very happy to see you. And I think Baba has already welcomed you in the Murli on our behalf. And secondly, I felt when you were giving us drishti, you would have seen all the souls giving you a big welcome. So I'm not going to waste my time because everybody's staring at me. I say, please, we don't want to hear anything from you. We'd rather listen to you. Thank you, Bab Dada, for sending you to shower the knowledge for us. Thanks. Now, I've also, my duty is to welcome the Matle family. They are here. They have come from about 30 kilometers or so. Thank you all very much for coming and gracing this occasion, because it is something. Yes, after 3 years, it is a big boom for us, brother. You have come. Really? He's the first guest, yeah. Yeah, the first guest. So we all were very anxious to sing because we have been spoiled by the daddies and didis every year. At least about 2, 3 come and pet us and pamper us and tell us. They put us on the top of the big tree and say, oh, the Sri Lankans are the Paka ones. So we always feel very proud. Now I'll ask Brother Jayaguru to welcome you in his style. By giving you
So I'm saying, share something about Turkey service. I'm wondering, should I maybe introduce myself first? So some of you may have read already on the bio. Okik terms. Father is from India. Mother was born in Peshawar, which was India at that time, then became Pakistan. I was born in Malawi, Africa. I grew up in London and in Oxford and living in Istanbul. Different places are there. And when I was about 8 or 9 years old, then my parents started going to Baba Center, the east of London. Not the main center. The main center was in northwest London where the Janki was. In East London, there's a town called Ilford. There's a small center there. Yes, yeah, that's right. And Satish Bhai, he's left the body. Anyway, that's where I started going. And of course, my mother especially was very keen, to learn the knowledge. She used to be a Bhagat of Shiva in Africa. And she had many questions which nobody could answer. Even about the Ramayana, she used to wonder how it is that Sita was kidnapped. Now, if God is the husband, isn't the husband supposed to protect the wife? She'd wonder, what kind of husband is this? Can't even protect the wife, and he's God. But she couldn't ask anyone. And coming to hear the knowledge, then everything made sense. And I just used to go, along with the parents. I used to sit at the back in the evenings and just listen to the lessons, the talks, and so on. Sometimes they would ask me to do things like to put water on the flowers or clean the agarbatti tray. This is my first major service project. Every day I have to clean the agarbatti tray properly in Baba's remembrance. Yeah, 9, 10, something like that. And then one day, the brother in the center, his name was Satish Bhai, he said to me one evening, why you don't come in the mornings? And I thought that morning class is only for bade log, only big people, adults. Didn't realize children are allowed to come. So I just said, okay. And the next morning I started coming to the morning class. And of course I was at school in those days. So for me, I already had a student approach to Baba's knowledge and to the whole of Gyan. And I used to enjoy, I was quite studious. When then Satish Bhai, during the Murli, he would ask a question, I'll put my hand up like, oh, I know the answer. I thought it was school, And when he was reading the Murli, I used to write down everything. I thought it was like English dictation class, Teacher is reading, you have to write. I filled out many, many notebooks. And even at school, my English friends, I would see how their parents would drive them to school. Like school started at 9:20. It seemed like their parents would drive them to school. And it seemed like they have just been dragged out of the bed, thrown into the car, driven to school, and thrown out of the other door. And I thought, for me, I have already been awake for, 3, 4, 5 hours. So I felt this great fortune as though I had a longer life than my friends because I've been awake for longer. So I always had this feeling of great fortune that I've received something very, very special from Baba. And even at school, I used to, discuss and debate about the cycle of time. I used to write on the blackboard before the teacher came in, draw the cycle and discuss with the friends. Teachers come in quickly, rub it off and sit down. I always had a great interest in the Gyan. Cycle and tree, for me, were just phenomenal. I remember our history teacher, Mr. Hayes, his name was, he used to talk about 1066, the Battle of Hastings, 1492, Columbus did this, that, and that. I used to think, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know Lakshmi Narayan used to be ruling the kingdom. I had this great feeling of, wanting to share the Gyan. And then when I was 15, first time I went to Madhuban, it created a deep impact. Because when you're 15 years old, normally people don't know how to treat you. You're no longer a child, but not yet an adult. So other people are confused how to handle him. So normally they say to a 15-year-old, quickly they say hi and bye very quickly. They go around you. But when I was in Madhuban first time, I really felt from Madhuban Nivasis, they were treating me as a soul, seeing me as a soul. I felt that natural love and respect from their vibrations, their behavior, their way of speaking, their drishti. I like these people. I like them. I thought I should be like them. That was a real inspiration. This is in December of 82. And I remember that year when we had gone to Madhuban. At that time, Dadi Prakashmani was not there. She was on tour somewhere in India. And then she came back with Mohini Ben. And I remember in the courtyard of Pandav Bhavan, we were welcoming her. There's one long line of sisters and then other side, one long line of brothers. Mohini Ben was giving Toli and Drishti to all the sisters. Dadi Ji was giving Toli and Drishti to the brothers. So we were all lined up. Madhuban Nivasis plus double foreigners, and there were not many double foreigners. I could see, Dadi is coming this way, and she's giving Drishti to Nirvair Bhai, and then this one and that one, big, big brothers. And I was standing in line as well. And I was so surprised. I got the same love and respect that she was giving to the big brothers. Yeah. I thought, who am I? I'm no one. Like 15-year-old boy is here. He doesn't know me. These Nirvair by others she has known for many years, working with them. Same love and respect I got. I just felt like, wow, I'm in another world, It really, for me, it was like Disneyland. I had not been to Disneyland, but for me, it was like spiritual Disneyland. And all these characters, the Madhuban Nivasis, were like from another world. For me, I felt very, very intoxicated. And then coming back to London, I was still in that Madhuban mood. Putting so much coconut oil on the hair, wearing the kurta pajamas, like, all that intoxication. And then my studies got serious. I had O levels, A levels, this kind of thing they have there. So then I didn't go for another 3 years. And then since then, every year, or sometimes twice a year, Madhuban. Many, many things to share, but just to keep the story short. Then in 1989, Daddy asked me to move to Oxford. The Jankees, so there, a center was opening in the city of Oxford, not the retreat center. Retreat center came in 93. In 89, along with one brother from Australia. So there we opened a small center in the city of Oxford. So again, lots to learn, for me. because I was used to living at home, dal and roti on the table every day, everything done. Suddenly now I have to do everything myself. Looking after a center is one thing. First, I have to look after myself. And many things like, paying the bills and handling this, handling that. So it was like being in a greenhouse. You have to grow very fast in terms of managing yourself and your emotions and your needs, and also handling the center and then handling the, sanskars. So many things came up. So I look back at that time and I see it was one of the most steep learning curves for me. Yes, challenging, but I always had this idea that if you live your life and you have never discovered what you are capable of, have you really lived? It's like you've just existed. You've not lived. It's like, for example, think of an eagle. An eagle is born in the nest. It grows in the nest, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, but it stays in the nest. And one day it dies in the nest. You can say it's been a safe life, comfortable life, an okay life, a secure life, but it's a shame. Eagle, such powerful wings. Could go so far, could see so much, could experience so much. So too, if I just live a comfortable life, where I am and with my comforts and everything is there, it's okay. But you never discover your wings unless you step out of the comfort zone. And that's what helped me to say yes to, new challenges. And then 10 years later, Dadis asked me, can you go to Istanbul for 3 months? I said, okay. 24 years later, still I am there. Mom, no, she's we're from Peshawar. So she was not Sindhi, but she moved to Delhi when she was just after partition. They moved to Delhi, and then she grew up there. Dad has passed on. Mother is still there in London with 2 brothers. So then, just to say, 99, then moved to Istanbul, and of course another big challenge, leaving from London and UK and Oxford, where all the comforts were there. And sometimes I would be driving Dadi, I was one of Dadi's team of drivers, driving her here, there, everywhere. So you learn a lot. And all the visitors who come, sometimes drove Dadi's and other senior brothers. So I left all that and went to Istanbul. But again, the same thought came that, I've received so much from Baba, from Madhuban, from Dadi's. I have to give a return now on another level. So those thoughts helped me to let go of, I'm missing something by not being in Oxford where I was. And sometimes I would hear news, or the senior from India, from Madhuban, is visiting UK. This big program is there. This is happening. That's happening. So I would think, if I was there, I would also be, in the front row. I would be doing this. Then I thought, no, to be useful, I have to be emotionally, mentally, intellectually, physically at the same place at the same time. If I am physically here, but emotionally I am there, I cannot serve those who are in front of me. So to consciously cut that thought connection with Oxford and UK in order to be useful to the souls who are in front. And I thought, others have done, the others did that. When they had to leave Madhuban and go and open centers, they had to leave Baba. They had to leave Madhuban. So the others have sacrificed for me. And now it's my turn to sacrifice for others. So these thoughts help to move ahead. And of course, I found that growth happened in new ways. I missed out on some things, But in other ways, the soul grew and developed that maybe I would not have if I was where I was before. And I felt Baba is sending me here. So why should I think twice? And Baba is a very responsible parent. He has good parenting skills. So if I'm missing something by saying yes to Baba, he will find another way to give me what I deserve. I don't need to worry about it. And that's the beauty of the confluence age. You know,
Were there any Indians?
oh, no. No, even now, very few Indians. And no Brahmin, no Indian Brahmins are there. All the Brahmins in Turkey are all locals. Yeah.
Turkish language.
To some degree, enough for communication, daily living, and so on. So it's a Muslim country, and there are different kinds of Muslims. Some are more staunch, some are a little bit more open and secular. So the thing is, when you are in a country where people may challenge what you say, what's more important is who you are. People can argue with what you say, but they can't argue with who you are. So that's the thing with one must work on one's dharana. I must work on being, if I'm at peace with myself, then others would say, yeah, you have found peace. If I am respectful, if I am happy, people will say, I don't agree with your knowledge, but you are a good person. Yeah? So not everyone will become Brahmins. In some countries, very few Brahmins are there, but many, many friends and contacts can be there. And that's one of the things there I've discovered is many doors open by keeping good relations with people. So I mustn't have this mindset, this one must become Brahmin. No, may become Brahmin, may not. But at least let me share something from Baba with this soul. And, souls respond and they say, why don't you come here? I'd like to organize a program, or I can arrange this for you. I can help you in this way. So in that sense, it's been also appreciating that Baba has something for everyone. Of course, Baba's children are the morning class children, those who study regularly. Then there are others who, even as Baba's saying today, they may not be able to follow the disciplines, but they want to help in some way. So they also have to be honored, they have to be respected. And through this, Baba's message then reaches more and more and more souls. So has anybody been to Istanbul or to Turkey? No? So you may know that Istanbul as a city, it's unique in the sense that the continent of Europe and the continent of Asia, they meet in Istanbul. Literally. Formerly Constantinople. The continent of Asia finishes in Istanbul. Then there is the Bosphorus Straits, Bosphorus River, you can say. Then the continent of Asia starts. Literally, two continents are meeting in one city. And there are 3 bridges that connect the 2 continents. And as you drive from one to the other, there's a big sign which says, welcome to Europe. This side, welcome to Asia. It's amazing to see it. And of course, there are boats you can go across. And now there's also an underground train underneath the water that goes. And so it's a place with a lot of history. You may know that the Byzantine Empire, the capital, the base was in Istanbul. And the Ottoman Empire for 500 years, its base was in Istanbul. So much history and so much karma in that city. Yeah, many influences. And because of the location, people from the surrounding lands have also lived there. So there are people with sort of Russian heritage, from Bulgarian heritage, Greek heritage. And on the east side, we have Iraq and Iran and Syria. And on the other side, across the Mediterranean, there is Cyprus and there's Israel and Palestine. So it's in the middle of everything. It's a hot spot. That's why it's always often in the news as well. But the people generally, they're generally very warm, hospitable, and many have a love for Indian culture. Indian food, of course, they all love, but also the Indian culture. And so it's been a great adventure to be there with Baba and to share and to serve. The main center is in Istanbul, and then pre-COVID, since COVID, some things are online, but pre-COVID there was center in Ankara, the capital, Izmir, another city called Antalya, and we had a presence in the south, another place called Bodrum, and also in Cyprus. But since COVID, some centers are less active or deactivated, and things are more online. So I think COVID has had many impacts, but also because of being online, we can reach more people than before. Because everybody's learned computer now because of Zoom and so on. So we do a lot of things online and can reach towns and villages where previously we could not reach physically going there. Yeah. Okay, I know we have a full morning ahead, so I should stop there. 1 minute silence.